What's up? This is Mia.
Yo, this is Tinkos.
This is Drax.
Hi, this is Milky.
Kia ora, this is Corn Willis, and you're listening to...
And you're listening
to the Salt Shaker Podcast.
And you're listening to Chrono on the Salt Shaker Podcast.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Salt Shakers. We'd like to apologise there for the delays there, just some uncertainties that's happened, but oh well, the show must go on there. So we'll be having our next guest on very, very shortly. He'll be joining us very soon, so don't go away, we'll be right back. Here we go.
Welcome to the Super Salt Shaker Podcast. Chrono. Get ready for the next podcast.
Good evening everyone, welcome to another episode of Salt Shakers. Now tonight we'll be having a special guest there. We'll be having BloodySamoan,
Yep, what's up?
also known as Kid Liger back then.
Yeah, I guess we'll talk about that a bit more later.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's been so long since, you've been in the game. I mean, I've known you as long as I've started playing Tekken, and all I remembered was you had less white hairs and more hair on your head back then.
Oh, man.
You still play King, though, but,
Was it Tekken 5, 5.0 days back in Time Zone?
Fresh out of school as well, fresh out of high school I was.
You were fresh out of high school. I wasn't fresh out of high school because I think I was maybe 3-4 years after I finished high school.
Yeah, just basically, I just remembered you. It's like, the King player with, with the massive beard and a head full of hair.
Now I'm the King player with the massive beard and no hair on my head. It's crazy, like, to think about those days back down in Time Zone, Queen Street, with all the guys, man, that was so much fun. And I actually came in through, because I used to play a lot on my PlayStation, and I guess back then with King, I was kind of a lab monster before lab monster was a thing, and I used to just break apart what King can do, coming up with weird combinations. So I think I decided to test myself and go to the arcades, and that's when I met a whole bunch of you guys, and then like Chrono and Drax and Zazob and stuff, and man, you guys welcomed me with open arms, especially I think with the way I played, because I did a lot of weird shit.
The funny thing though is that you had a lot of experience. I mean, you've done combos that we've never seen before, and that we've actually thought were quite unorthodox. Yeah, you've actually done it. So also I have Drax here with me, who's also going to be assisting in this.
Well, you use that word. Yeah, I'd say your style overall is quite unorthodox, and it's very, like, people take note of that, like losing to the stuff that you do. It's like, what? That works.
Like, I've always been about style over substance. Like, if I can get something cool, and even if I lose, I'm like, man, I'm pretty happy with that, because a lot of people will be like, oh, I didn't realize you could do that, or man, that looks pretty cool, because
you used to do some good setups with King that, like, as I said, I'm like thinking, why the hell would you do that? Like, it works.
I don't really, a lot of people talk about frame data and whiff punishes and all that stuff, right? For me, that's too technical. Like, I'm very much a in the moment kind of guy. I like to feel it as I go, and so I'll throw out random stuff because that's what feels right for me at the time. So I very much play how I feel, rather than going, okay, if I block that, I can do 1-2 or something.
Sometimes you'll actually come in though, and you'll lose quite a lot because you're like, I've got this new combo which I really want to try and get. But
exactly. Like, I don't mind losing because I don't like, as much as I love Tekken. Like, Tekken's my all-time favorite game. It's not a high priority for me. So I'd rather kind of just work on doing something new, doing something different, having fun. Like, a lot of people forget to have fun. This is a freaking video game,
Yeah, but the thing is that sometimes we do get overtaken with salt. Like, it does get the better of us.
Well, that's why I'm here. I'm here to add a bit of pepper to the salt. Brown skin,
brown skin.
the brown guy on the podcast, and adding a bit of pepper to the salt.
We've got quite a few. We've got a handful of them brown guys.
Them brown people are coming up on the podcast quite frequently, actually.
Especially, especially that guy Simp in the chat there.
Yeah, Simp. Yeah. He's a good one, man.
He's He's a good dude.
Maybe you could tell us more about like how you started off with Tekken or just with fighting games.
Okay, so I'm Samoan, right? And so of course, BloodySamoan. So as a typical Samoan kid growing up, I was forced to learn the piano.
What?
And so
What? This is news to me.
So I used to play the piano for like 8-10 years.
What grade
when I was
did
a
you
kid.
end up getting?
See, I can't even remember because as soon as I got old enough to call the shots, I decided not to play piano.
So can you still play piano?
Kind of. It would take me. I'm really rusty, but
okay.
it would take me.
We've
a bit.
got a piano in the lounge, so you can
yeah.
jam a few.
I'm not Billy Joel, but yeah. So as a kid growing up, I went to piano lessons, and the piano lessons I went to were in Otahuhu. I'm a Māngere boy, South Auckland, and I got to my piano lesson early enough that I went to. There was a Spacey arcade across the road from my music school.
Yeah, and what games
So-
were there?
Oh, it was a whole bunch of stuff, but I remember distinctly Tekken 1. Tekken 1 was there, and I remember putting my coin in and picking the tiger-looking guy because he looked cool. And then I mashed all the buttons. I was probably about how old's Tekken? 27?
It's 94, 95 or something like that.
Yeah. So I would have been about 12, 13, and I remember mashing all the buttons, and this tiger character did the suplex, and I was like, "Oh my god, he's a wrestler!" And so that was the moment I fell in love with King, and I've been using King ever since.
Were you into wrestling?
I was a huge wrestling fan. There's two things that I love in my life that have longer than I have Tekken, and that's comic books and pro wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So finding a wrestling character who did wrestling moves in this video game blew my mind. That what it wasn't a wrestling game, it was a fighting game. So I was like, oh man, I love this character.
I guess when you look at King, like, I guess I too didn't know what to expect, and then when you did all the chain grapples and stuff, it's like, wow, that's actually really good.
So that was the first time I fell in love with the character, and that's when I fell in love with Tekken, and so I've been using King ever since Tekken 1.
So you are a King, like main, like
King
no
Lawless.
one else, no one else.
King and Armor King were my boys.
Oh,
So pretty much if they're a wrestler, I would probably use them. I've dabbled with JC in Tekken Tag 2, but I didn't have enough time to really blow open what she can really do.
Yeah.
I just loved all the gimmicky moves she had. But King and Armor King, pretty much I've been using since day one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, true. Okay.
So that's my secret origin.
Were you quite affected when Armor King didn't make the T7?
Oh yeah, I was, and then I was like, oh no, Armor King, and then they gave some of Armor King's handy moves to King. I was like, oh, does that mean there's not going to be an Armor King at all? Because some of the handy stuff that Armor King has in 7, and all I was thinking was, if they were going to give something to King, give him the bloody dark upper.
Yeah.
That's all King needs is a dark upper, and I'd be happy.
He had an unblockable, which was like a wave dash notation.
Oh, you have the
3?
wave dash 3.
I wanted that kick.
Actually,
that would have been cool.
That would be pretty handy.
Yeah.
I know in 7, I've hit a few people with the double Jaguar step 4, the unblockable.
Yeah.
Just because they're expecting just to block a high.
Yeah.
And then they realize after 2 Jaguar steps it's unblockable. And it's a wall splat too. So it's like, but I think if you hit people out of the air, it turns into a tailspin.
Really?
Yeah. I remember hitting someone in the air and it's tailspin, and then I had the running powerbomb off. Oh, that's cool. But because it's such a long move, it's very, very hard to have the setup with a double Jaguar step 4. But yeah, so no, that was how I got into King and how I got into Tekken. And
Actually, speaking of which, Geese just got released on PlayStation. I think he was released for like PC or 360 yesterday.
Yeah.
Did you happen to try him at all today?
Not really. I saw that he had come unlocked for PS4, and I just checked out his customizations really just to see what he had.
Were they alright?
Oh, it was just all the basic stuff.
Yeah.
Plus, like, his kimono, his Phoenix kimono, and stuff. But
There's one player on Twitter, Incognito. He kept tweeting combos of Geese this morning, And man, the
I
stuff
saw some of those
on the Howard level.
Yeah.
Holy man!
that stage. I think that stage. A
Like
lot of people are gonna be loving.
triple wall break,
Triple, yeah.
wall break. Like wow,
Yeah, triple wall break, balcony break, and then it was
It's crazy, isn't it?
yeah. So a lot of people are gonna be loving that stage.
Yeah.
It's gonna be crazy.
Especially with Paw, you know, you can just
no,
you
not
can
Paw.
death fist him
Yeah.
through the wall,
Death
and
fist, death fist.
carry again,
Yeah.
death fist.
Rage drive, death
Yeah.
fist. Yeah, it's gonna be a circus, man.
So, Mikal, what about in terms of getting into Tekken sort of on a more competitive level? I mean, have you ever thought about, you know, sort of coming to more of these events? I know you're coming to them now. You totally missed out on Tekken 6, and you missed out on Tag 2. I haven't really seen you around that much.
Yeah, because like 6, I hate it. I hate 6 because King sucked, and so Armor King was cool, but King sucked in 6, so I hate 6. Tekken Tag 2, I had a lot of fun, but again, priorities. As much as I love Tekken, my comic work and my wrestling work takes priority over Tekken, and so I do play Tekken Tag 2, but I couldn't really make all the events and stuff because I was busy, you know, doing comic work, wrestling, or traveling around the world and whatnot. So, yeah.
Even the events that you do make, you tend to put on quite a show. Like even when you're just there, like
Yeah, well, it's funny because like I remember the days of Tekken 5 before the boys and stuff, and like spending hours and lots of money at the arcades, and I remember that camaraderie, you know, the energy, that vibe, you know, like a lot of us would be talking shit, but you know,
There's a lot of salt as well.
Yeah, there was a lot of salt.
It's actually a lot better now.
Yeah.
You know, in the community these days. You know, I remembered D-Sam.
Yeah.
When he was obviously, you know, king of the mountain.
Yeah.
Back in Tekken 5 days, but then now he's coming back for Tekken 6, and he basically just told me over dinner one night. He goes, you know what? The community's a lot different. You know, I'm not used to it. There's just back then, you know, we would see, you know, it's like, okay, it's blue jacket guy.
Yep.
Or it's black backpack guy.
Yep.
It's Indian law player. You know.
Yeah.
And then there's always this like sort of rivalry.
Yeah.
Or somewhat some kind of passive aggressiveness in like sort of the communication.
Yeah.
You know, sure, we'll give each other the nod, but you know, we'll just be talking shit about them, like, you know, in the back-to-back machines with our other friends.
Talking smack from the other end of the machine and stuff.
Exactly.
But-
So it's
I remember that stuff fondly, and when Tekken 7 came out, because I wasn't a fan of 7.0, and when I started playing it, it felt like I was playing underwater. Like the movements were really choppy and really cumbersome. But then with FR and the console version, I was like, man, this is so much better. Like the movement was better and stuff, and I started having fun with it. And then coming to like the LPL, Tekken World Tour event, catching up with the guys from Tekken 5 days, and like it reminded me of what was fun about back in the days. And so now I want to try and make as many of these events as I can, while my schedule permits. Because I can see it. I was like, man, this is really fun, just hanging out with people, playing games, you know, talking shit, but like in a friendly manner, nothing too serious. Nothing,
exactly.
like for me, I've never really been a real salty guy, and so yeah, for me, I'm just out there to have fun.
That's why when I saw you at the LPL International event, and I saw you rock up, and I'm thinking, oh man, please tell me you brought his mask. It's go time, baby. Let's go.
Well, yeah, like that's something else I bring as well, as like my wrestling experience as well, like the kind of personality, that persona, just a bit of flavor to a very vanilla, scene kind of thing, because it just makes people like enjoy it. They're like, oh, this is actually kind of cool.
Here's the funny thing though, is that we are still kind of underdeveloped as a community in Tekken, whereas Street Fighter has been a tighter community for a very, very long time. So that's the reason why I think that it is important that you know, in the fighting game communities, you know, whether it's Tekken, I mean, we're all one fighting game community, but obviously you still have people branching, you know, in certain sort of groups, or hanging on to their certain groups. Like for example, you know, you'll have someone like NCA. You know, that would always hang out in the Tekken side. You have Julian, you have Virtual Bacon, who's always just going to be sort of Tekken
Yeah.
orientated. Whereas, you know, for me, I've hung out with David, I've hung out with Iron Soul, and all the other Street Fighter boys, you know, and it's good to like sort of have that banter.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's always good. Like, which one's the better game, Street Fighter or Tekken? And
Yeah. So I think that it is important for us just to have these characters. You know, like, you know, you'll have these bad guys like, you know, Cure, who would always rack up the crowd.
You think he's a bad guy?
Yeah.
I think he's a villain.
His character is a villain.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Just the way that he sort of like, you know, winds up the crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff makes a scene. You know, it kind of showcases the different personalities that are part of the scene. You know, but for me, it's just about having fun. Like, I want to go out there, have fun, and do something different, stand out a bit. And so like, you know, I mask up for tournaments because that's just funny. And so that's my goal really, is to go out there, play well, and have fun.
That makes you quite unique as a player, because, you know, like, I think as we've hinted, you know, some people, they just kind of stay in the Tekken scene. They don't have anything else going on with that level of importance. Whereas with you, you know, there's quite an interesting story. You know, like you said, with your work, the work that you do for communities and stuff.
Yeah. No, it's like I just want to have fun really, and just go out there and do what I love. You know, whether it's comics, wrestling, or Tekken. So everything I do, I go out there and try to make sure I enjoy myself.
Which is always important.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
It's always
like,
important,
you know, I think that's why I can let go. You know, if I lose, I'm like, that's alright. It's not the end of the world for me. You know,
you're one of those players where, you know, like, whether win or lose, you know you're gonna have you know, to face you, like, it's still gonna be a good match. You know, win lose, because you're not salty. You know, you're not over analytical, nothing like that. You know?
I can't, because that stuff feels like work. It makes it less fun for me.
Less fun,
yeah. Because I'd rather
more tedious. You're not enjoying it. Why are you doing it?
Yeah, if you're studying frame data and stuff, it's like, man, that's homework. It's like, I just want to know what works and what doesn't, and then just go out there and do it. That's kind of how I wrestle as well. When I go out there and wrestle, I'm very old school, so a lot of times I'll maybe talk about what I'm going to do in the beginning, talk about what I'm going to do at the end, and then most of the stuff I'll free flow. I
was wondering if you could talk about the little gift that you gave to Mr. Echo Fox.
Oh, Mr. Saint. So it's funny too. At the Tekken World Tour event in Auckland, I didn't get to play Saint, and I know a lot of people really wanted to play Saint.
You were building that. You had Facebook posts like building up, like, it's coming, it's coming.
And so but I remember meeting him and being at the TWT and thinking, you know, I don't feel like playing Saint. I just want to give him a gift, and so I gifted him that Tekken blank cover comic, which I sketched Jack with Saint riding Jack.
And you did that yourself. And you actually did that yourself.
Yeah, I drew that. Yeah,
image from another.
Yeah, no, yeah, like, so, like, you know, obviously I use reference photos, so I know what Jack looks like, but a lot of times, most of that was very much me drawing Jack and Saint. And I gifted that to him, and he absolutely loved it. And he was like, is that me? I was like, yes, it is you. So that's kind of crazy, and it's funny too, because I think that meant more to me than playing him.
I saw that moment. I was actually just playing. I think I was just finishing up.
Yeah.
And I just happened to see that moment where you pulled it out of your bag.
Yeah.
And you took your sweet time doing it, and I'm glad, because I got to see every second. And he looked so confused.
Yeah.
And then it was like a look of disbelief, like, this is me, isn't it? This is me.
So so that was really cool. So, like, for me, once I gave him that gift, the artwork, I was like, I didn't need to play him. And then after that, he started following me on Twitter. So out of the 161 people he follows on Twitter, I'm one of them. So I didn't need to play him to earn that.
You've won that.
So I didn't have to be like Zaza and go to Australia and beat him. I won this hat.
Are you calling out Zaza for that?
I won this hat. Yeah. So so that was kind of cool, and that was fun. And he was a really cool dude. Like you know, I just felt sorry for him with all the travel and the jet lag and stuff. But
it was so bad though. Like, when he landed
in
New Zealand, he was just so tired.
Yeah.
And then pretty much, like, I kind of felt bad for him because, you know, I really, really wanted to interview him. And then he was like, yep, okay, cool. let's do it.
Yeah.
But during the interview, like, he was all good,
Yeah.
but afterwards he was just, I'm
He's
so
really
tired.
tired. Yeah,
I'm so tired.
That's
I'm
what I
like,
think, because with all of us in the other room making the noise and stuff, and he was kind enough to like hang around for a bit and play a few games with the guys.
exactly.
And like as I was watching that, I was like, oh, it's good that like Daly and Andreas and then stuff like they all got to play him, and yeah, that's when I was like, yeah, no, I don't need to play him. Like, it would have been cool, but my mission was accomplished in handing him the artwork.
I mean, that's just one event out of the many things that you do in your normal life, which like a lot of us would never get to do. Like, you've been to many places,
Yeah, I do travel a lot with the comics thing, and it's crazy too because like through the comics and through the wrestling, I've gotten to know a lot of people, got to meet a lot of people. I've met Harada and Ono.
You've met Harada twice, haven't you?
Yep, and I sent him a whole sketchbook of all the Tekken characters at that time for the 20th anniversary. And I remember messaging him on Twitter saying, "Hey, I have the sketchbook. What's your address? I'm gonna send it to you." And he gave me his address.
Wow.
So I sent that to Harada. I don't know whether he got it because who knows about the post, but but he actually gave me his address to send it to him. Because we were tweeting each other while we were at San Diego, but we kept missing each other because he was doing panels and I was busy doing comic stuff. And then when I was free, he wasn't. When he was free, I wasn't. And so I decided to send it to him. And he remembered me from the first time he came to New Zealand in 2012. It was Armageddon.
That was when Tekken 6 was first.
Oh, it was 2011.
It was 2010. Yeah. 2010, 2011, yeah.
So when he came down to New Zealand, he remembered me because once I put the mask on, he was like, "Oh, New Zealand." I mean, yep.
That's actually cool.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool. And he's always been choice Harada and stuff. But yeah, it's crazy. And even though I did wrestling stuff, my wrestling isn't only just inspired by actual wrestlers. It's also inspired by King. The mask I wear. With the Ligo persona is kind of inspired by King. The moves I do in the ring are definitely inspired by King. I used to use the Shining Wizard as a finish when I started.
What did Harada say to you when he saw your character for the first time, your persona?
I remember... because I was in full gear, because I was about to go wrestle when Harada was at Armageddon. And so I was in full gear and I had to get a photo of him. And he was like, he kind of looked at me like really scared, like I was going to do something to him. And then I just went and shook his hand and said, "Big King fan." He goes, "Oh yeah, I know, nice mask." Then we did like this tough guy kind of wrestling pose and stuff like that. So at first he was a little intimidated, but then he was pretty choice with it after that. So yeah,
that's good, man.
That's really cool. Like just sort of having that icon. Because I mean, you've definitely got a gimmick, and you definitely have sort of put yourself. I think that you'll be one of those guys that would be like inducted into the Tekken Hall of Fame, just like wrestling and things like as pretty much like the masked player that plays King.
Like, don't get me wrong, I kind of think of Gon in Tekken 3, like that novelty character that you just remember, like you just remember that character, like that's how I see you. It's just, you're right, it's that mask, it's that character, people see it and it's like, oh
like in the industry that that I'm in, comic books and wrestling especially, you need a hook to make you stand out from the crowd, and so I use those tools to kind of help promote the Tekken fighting game scene, the New Zealand scene and stuff, but also like make myself stand out from the crowd. So people are like, "Oh yeah, the BloodySamoan guy," and like it's cool that I have all these gimmicks and the mask and stuff, but I guess what also helps with that is that I'm a decent enough player. It's not like I talk shit and then I can't back it up. I think that also helps as well. It's just like, oh, there's that dude. When I was in New York last year, New York Comic Con, they had the Tekken 7 tournament. And I entered it, and I remember masking up for the first time, going up onto the main stage, and all these Americans are like, "Oh, who is this dude?" It's like, "Oh man, that's crazy!" And then I start smashing people, and they're like, "Oh, this dude's legit," that kind of thing, And then crazy enough, like I think Bloodhawk Was it Bloodhawk? Yeah, Bloodhawk was in that tournament. So was Real Law.
Oh god, you mean Real Law? Wow.
And stuff, and I ended up coming third in the New York Comic Con tournament.
Really?
Yeah, I came
Wow.
third, which is crazy. That's how I got the white crying Heihachi hat.
Oh yeah, the iconic hat that
yeah.
Markman wears. Yeah.
So I earned that through coming third in the New York Comic Con Tekken 7 tournament.
Jeez,
And I remember like Real Law coming up to me, going, "Oh, you're pretty decent, bro. Like, have you thought about being pro?" It's like, I ain't got time for that. Like, I was like, I'd love to, but I just don't have the time to turn pro or whatever. Put in the hours of work of lab work and stuff. Like, it's like I just didn't have the time for it because I've got comics to draw. I've got people to drop on their heads. You know
how to keep busy.
Yeah,
You do.
but like I think Jabu, Gabe was talking about legacy skills, and I think that's how I get by. That's how I get by in Tekken 7 is my legacy skills. Having played since Tekken 1,
You've been with the character for so long. There is that nice.
I just know the new mechanics and some of the new moves, and then I just use my previous knowledge to fill in the gaps. And that's why I'm useless against new characters or even some of like the old characters with new moves. Because I'm just like, I don't know what this person does, because all I know is King, and I'm just using my previous knowledge, my legacy knowledge.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's actually really that's quite informative, and that's actually a lot of information. Why don't we just go on the first break?
Yep.
And have a breather, drink some water, I guess. And we'll be right back into it. So, Daly, is there anything that you wanted to mention before we...
Yeah, no, we'd just like to mention the tournament off-season Salt that's run by Mighty Ape. So this is going to be hosted at Megaweb next Saturday. And this is actually one that you're going to come to.
I will be there. I'm actually coming along.
You're actually going to show up. Yeah.
I'm actually coming along to off-season Salt.
And it's not one of those times where you're like, oh, I think I'll make it.
Yeah,
and
no,
then
this
you don't
one
show up.
I've entered. I've paid my registration fee.
BloodySamoan is in.
So if you're listening and you're thinking about coming along, come along. You'll actually see my gimmick in the flesh, and then maybe you'll be one of my victims. So, rolling death cradles are on.
What did you say? They call it like there's a death, like
death by rolling death cradle. Yeah,
like, that's why it's called rolling death cradle.
Rolling death cradle, eh?
Yeah, there'll be some other players that are assisting with the tournament. So there's Jambo, Sky, Zarzob, and a few others. I've actually emailed one of them, and they seem pretty on it. Yeah, pretty onto it.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, they're pretty good, man.
Yeah.
So
anyway, what we'll do is we'll go on our first break, guys. So don't go away. This is Chrono, Drax, and BloodySamoan on Salt Shakers.
See you soon.
Hey, what's up, Internet? It's Virtual Bacon.
This is Cornova,
Hi, this is Squishy Bob.
Hey, this is NCH.
This is Zazo.
and you're listening to
And you're listening to
The Salt Shaker Podcast.
The Salt Shaker Podcast.
The Salt Shaker Podcast.
the Salt Shaker Podcast.
Hey, this is Hani Mohani.
Yo, this is Blacker.
Hi everyone, this is Maven.
Hey, this is Nemesis.
This is Mizu, and you're listening to
the Salt Shaker Podcast.
Hello guys, we're back with the Salt Shakers. Just a quick mention that this isn't a normal podcast for us. We are experiencing a technical difficulty, more so our internet, so thanks for those that are bearing with us. And a big shout out as well to our new sponsors, our new backup guys, Omen HP, and Jason Spiller, yep, so if you're listening, thank you very much, man. We are getting some equipment from Omen HP, hence the call out on our banner and the shout out. We bring you back with BloodySamoan.
So
Well, we're talking about HP Omen.
Yeah.
Armageddon.
Yep.
They had that live stream.
Yeah.
And something
that
happened
was-
on that live stream, right?
Oh yeah, some
Chrono here got a little.
Shut up. I had to actually let you win, okay? That was it, man.
let him win
I
by
had,
getting an RDC.
Yeah, by getting rolling death cradle.
the spray and walk away.
I was trying to break it, but
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, okay, I didn't
Yeah.
break it. That's a shame.
That couldn't have
I
been
died.
more. That couldn't have
Yeah.
been more perfectly planned.
But,
like you did it, you dropped your stick,
Yeah.
and then you just walked
I
off
did the
like a boss.
Yeah,
man.
hey, Mark Hunt, UFC fighter, fellow Samoan from Maui there, is a good friend of mine, and so I remember once I saw that rolling death cradle lock in, I was like, what would be thinking? Man, walk away. And so that was a spur of the moment kind of decision to do the walk away, and it looked so good on the stream as well.
Well, you have to actually put on like a show.
Yeah, well, exactly.
That was what it was.
There's one of those moments where, like, even like the brown security guard.
I was gonna say, did you not walk past him and give him a high five?
I walked up and he was like, "Oh, bro, that was awesome!" And so so I was like, "Yeah, that's for the brothers." but yeah, it's stuff like that. Again, they kind of gets things hype. Kind of adds flavor to to the fighting game scene. And so that's kind of what I try.
Yeah, I mean, there are players like Chogala and like Roy, Chris. They naturally bring the hype, but with you, it's like a pot. Like it just bottles up, brews, and then all of a sudden it's just.
It's like, oh, what's Liger gonna do now, kind of thing. But no, that was a lot of fun. Like, and I couldn't believe that I managed to pull that off on the stick, like in front of the crowd and on stream. So that was fun, But I just thought that just reminded me, HP Omen, that awesome booth they had at Armageddon, and
It was
they
an
had
awesome booth. I mean, it was funny though because all those other ones when I actually. Because I think after you, after you took the prize and everything, like I was just like, because I think it was Daly that just sort of just poked fun at me. He was just like sort of nudging me or something, and I'm just
wasn't there that day.
It was either it would have been Julian.
Yeah.
But what happened was, I kind of got a little bit salty after that. So they invited the other guy, and then I was just like, okay, I'll play him. Yeah. And then so basically I was up 2 rounds from that guy. Yeah. I was like, you know what? Screw this guy. I'm just gonna beat him up. And then so it just got to this one bit where he was on rage and I was on a bit of health left. Yeah. And then the guy was like, oh, let him win. And I'm like, oh, okay. So basically that's when he did like a rage up and I sort of went forward. I held the joystick forward and I'm like, okay, here you go. Whatever.
That was cool. It's cool that HP Omen have decided to sponsor you guys as well, which is cool, which is great. Supporting the not only the Tekken scene but the New Zealand fighting game community.
Yeah, but what a way to start, man!
Yeah.
Like just not this internet
technical difficulties.
Yeah,
hopefully,
we do thank the people that are listening to this now or listen to it later.
As you guys already know, that I work for Telco, and I actually quit my job, and I'm actually trying to work on this podcast. With my time and things, I just found that work just wouldn't actually, they wouldn't accommodate for the time that and effort that I want to put in. Yeah. So I was just like, you know what, let's just we'll turn over a new leaf next year and everything. And for the meantime, let's see what we can do about this podcast. and everything. The first thing was the HP Omen. That was actually really, really good, and we were quite lucky, really, to have them backing us up. But yeah, they basically, since my work was paying for my internet, they said, go find another supplier. So I was like, okay, let's give these guys a go, and it just didn't roll over smoothly.
That's a shame, but we're rolling now.
We're rolling.
With some speed bumps, but
it'll most likely go on YouTube. A more polished version will be on YouTube. So I guess it'll be good. But yeah, let's move on there. You said you're a wrestler, so you're definitely a huge wrestling fan. So you've probably been following wrestling all your life.
I've been following wrestling since I was a little kid, and it's crazy to think that I have friends who are famous wrestlers. I've been wrestling for about 12 years now. With Impact Pro Wrestling here in Auckland. I've wrestled up and down the country. I've wrestled with Jake the Snake. I've wrestled with Bushwhacker Luke. That was actually quite funny, beating up on a 60-something-year-old man. I was New Zealand Tag Team Champion last year with King Haku, which is probably the highlight of my career. It's kind of crazy, and some of those guys are my friends. And I work with Jerry the King Lawler on Headlocked, the graphic novel series I illustrate. I've worked with AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, the Young Bucks, MVP, Christopher Daniels, Shane Helms.
And the list goes on.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then the next book, I'm actually illustrating a story by Ric Flair. So Ric Flair's writing it and I'm drawing it. So that's crazy. Mick Foley's also doing a story.
What's Ric Flair like?
Ric Flair's like, I spent some time with him last year in New York.
Bit of a joker, or
you could tell that dude in the party situation, like when he was younger, and he was
he was a massive party animal.
Yeah, you could tell like that dude loves to have fun. And so that was kind of crazy because like I remember at New York Comic Con last year, to the left of me was Jerry the King Lawler, and to the right of me was Ric Flair, and we're having a good conversation. And it's Comic Con, right, in New York, so cosplay is huge, and there's some awesome cosplay. And I remember me and Jerry seeing this cosplayer from a distance, thinking, "Man, that looks legit. Like that's a really cool cosplay." So we go back to our conversation, and then the cosplayer actually comes up to us and goes, "Hey Jerry, hey Rick." We look up, and me and Jerry go, "Oh shit! It was the real Sting. The real Sting was in full get-up." The face paint,
it was him,
and it was the real Sting. Me and Jerry thought it was a cosplayer from a distance. It ended up being the real Sting, and he came over and said hi to us. And I'm sitting there going, "Man, how did this Samoan kid from South Auckland find himself here?" But yeah, stuff like that. It's crazy. Like those guys are my friends or colleagues that I work with, and so like Kenny Omega, big Street Fighter player.
Samoa Joe plays a bit of Street Fighter.
He plays a bit of Tekken. He plays a bit of Tekken, and so so I've worked with Joe with Headlocked, but also with WWE Comics. So there's a Samoa Joe story which I illustrated in WWE Comics, which is out next month. It's crazy, next year in January, and that's for WWE. So I've done work for WWE with Samoa Joe. And that will be in virtually every comic book store around the world. Again, that's crazy to think. So Joe's. I chat with Joe on Twitter all the time.
You have like 1,000 followers or something on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
Like, you actually got a big following. I just realized.
It's an okay following.
Yeah.
I'd love the blue tick at some point, just to be official. But yeah. So it's guys like that, and AJ Styles I've hung out with, like that.
Oh man,
cool.
I definitely want to sit down and have a conversation with AJ Styles.
I've actually rolled around in the ring with AJ Styles.
Oh yeah.
He was here.
He's a mean athlete though.
He was here in New Zealand, I think 2012, and he actually came along to the Impact Pro Wrestling gym. We did the haka for him. He talked to us about like wrestling and his thoughts on psychology and ring psychology and stuff. We put on a couple of matches for him, and then afterwards when the TV crews left, he kind of was like, "Oh guys, I feel like rolling around with you." Like he really loved the vibe we had. So we jumped in the ring and we were wrestling with AJ Styles. So I got to like clothesline AJ Styles. He suplexed me. He gave me an enziguri. He gave me a few European uppercuts and stuff. It was like crazy. It was like, man, I'm getting beat up by AJ Styles.
It sounds so bizarre. It's like, oh, I got knocked out. You know, I got punched in the gut. It felt great.
I got kicked in the back of the head by AJ Styles. That was awesome. You know, and he was a really chill dude. He still is a really chill dude. He loves his video games.
Yeah, I remember
he's an Xbox guy.
No, I remembered someone telling me or reading up somewhere that everywhere he went, like he would go on tour, but he'll always take his Nintendo 64 with him.
Yeah, no,
he's a massive Zelda fan.
Yeah, he's a Zelda fan, but I think now at the moment he's an Xbox guy.
Okay.
But yeah, that dude loves his games as well. But real chill dude. You know, and like the story he wrote for Headlocked was probably one of my favorites. It was kind of like about the mundane life of a wrestler. Like, you know, when they're not wrestling and on the road and they're back home, it's kind of like what it's like as a wrestler, big time wrestler back home. Mm-hmm. And that's probably one of my favorite stories with AJ and stuff. But you know, then there's also like, you know, speaking of Tekken, you know, in Tekken 7, there's the Bullet Club in New Japan t-shirts and gear available in the customization.
Yeah.
So Bad Luck Fale, the underboss, you know, a Bullet Club original, is a very good friend of mine. Tongan from Māngere as well. We went to primary school together. We were in LA last month together hanging out, and so it's kind of crazy that like my mate and his crew have t-shirts and Tekken. You know, like I'm rocking a Bullet Club t-shirt at the moment just to support the guys, but you know, and then some of the other Bullet Club guys are friends of mine. You know, I met Okada and Hiroshi Tanahashi last year when they came to New Zealand. You know, also Kenny Omega I helped kind of get the feelers out for Standing Fierce to put on a Street Fighter casuals with Kenny because he wants to play some Street Fighter with Auckland crew. So I got to hang out with those guys thanks to my friendship with Fale. You know, because he's quite well respected. You know, Okada. You know, like his Rainmaker outfit that King has. Yeah. Like I'm like, man, I've met Okada. You know, I've hung out with him a little bit. You know, Lars is about to have the Hiroshi Tanahashi gear. Soon. I was like, yeah, man, Tanahashi was so cool. Like, you know, real down to earth, real, like one of the most talented wrestlers in the world, Tanahashi. And so it's great to see like that crossover appeal of the New Japan wrestling and Tekken. You know, two of my loves. You know?
Well, speaking of wrestling, I too am a huge wrestling fan. And pretty much the main reason of actually, you know, starting this podcast was because of wrestling. If I don't know if you heard it from my other podcast, but Talk is Jericho is a huge influence.
There's some great wrestling podcasts around.
So in the Stone Cold podcast, but I really mainly got my you know, all my ideas from Jericho. Especially that one we had with AJ Styles. There was one story. There's one story about how he started. And how AJ was actually in a trailer, you know, living with his parents and his other siblings. And they were really, you know, they started off, you know, really low. And things like that. But you know, now he's this big time wrestler guy. And just hearing those stories. So you know, we're not as epic as, you know, obviously the wrestlers. We're not as big, but you know, we're a small community, and so that's why, you know, I think, hey, look, you know, we should start a lore. Of every Tekken player.
Well, there's
always a story behind it.
Well, that's what I love about this podcast, especially is that it's not just about like Tekken or like, you know, frame data and all the technical jargon. It's about knowing the players, getting to know the players, getting to know the players' stories. And that kind of grows the community, because then when you have offline events, players feel like they know other
You're not
players.
ghosting certain people.
You're not just a number. You're not saying that, it's this person versus this person. Oh, it's these two versus. Okay, well, they've probably been friends for so long.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so that's what's great about this platform that you guys are providing for the New Zealand fighting game community, is being able to share our stories, share our experiences, so others listening can feel that they know us. Or even like get snippets where like, man, that's just like me, you know?
I don't imagine BloodySamoan having a casual match with the Tongan one. And he's thinking to himself, man, this guy wrestled with AJ Styles, gee! Like, when are you going to find that out, you know?
Yeah.
Like, when we're there in the moment, it's all about the game. But yeah.
Well, you know, like, you know, the Tongan one, like, you know, I remember playing him online, and I posterized him one time. Because I was like, oh my god, I'm playing someone called the Tongan one. And I finished him off with a rolling death cradle too. But then, like, seeing him coming to these offline events and meeting him at the TWT, like, I was like, oh, this kid's cool. Like, you know, this is a down-to-earth kid, and he's, like, getting better, which is great. And it's great to see him coming to offline events and improving each time. And
he's certainly, you know, come out of his shell.
Yes, exactly.
Because the thing is that when I first played him, he was just like a really quiet dude, just sitting down on the chair and just starts playing, and then like, you know, doesn't even say good games, just walk off and say, yep, cool, whatever.
He's like his.
But
character.
now he's opened up.
He's got that savage stance that he does, like Miguel. Like he's really like.
He's got the confidence.
Yeah, he's like, come on, man,
cool.
let's go.
Yeah, see, and power to him. You know, that makes him memorable. You know, and stuff like that. So yeah, so that's kind of cool. You know, that's why I love podcasts like this, where we just talk and share our stories.
You've been talking about starting your own podcast, like not like cart streaming, right?
Yeah, well, like my internet sucks for streaming, but I am looking at doing
just like how it sucks now.
So I am looking at like doing some streaming sometime in the future, because I want to do some streaming of not only like Tekken but also my artwork. Like creating some of my artwork, you know.
I think you'd benefit greatly if you did it for your for your wrestling you know, as your wrestling persona.
Well, like, I could easily do stuff like that too, and you know, like to be honest, like it would be really cool if I could get like a sponsor on board, you know, because with all my international travels, like I can probably get in some games as well and kind of represent a brand, because like I was in Sydney and Brisbane, September, October. And when I was in Sydney, I was at the Playtime Arcade, and I was playing this guy on Tekken 7.0, and I was beating him fairly regularly. But then there was this Asian guy who was playing Tekken Tag 2. I was like, man, I haven't played Tekken Tag 2 in ages. So I sat down, and we had awesome games, and he was like, oh, you're really good. I was like, oh man, like I'm just getting used to remembering all the combos and stuff. But like, you know, I really enjoyed kind of playing, you know, Australian players. And when I was in Melbourne, I went to Jin's. And played a few games with him and stuff, and I missed out on playing with the other Melbourne guys. But like, I go to Australia all the time, and I'd definitely love to like meet up and play with some of the Australian crews.
You have an opportunity to really play a vast amount of people because of your travelling.
Yeah, exactly.
But as you said, you don't have the time.
Definitely go to Brisbane first, because the Brisbane boys, you know, they've connected up with us New Zealanders.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Now that I know, like Gabe is Brisbane.
Gigs.
Yeah. So like I'd love to connect with him and stuff, and like I was just telling Daly earlier today that next year I'm in Seattle in March, possibly Melbourne and Gold Coast in April, Melbourne again in June, and in July I'm looking at San Diego Comic-Con. But I realized that Evo was 2 weeks after San Diego Comic-Con.
And you're actually considering it.
So I'm considering doing San Diego Comic-Con and Evo. Because I got family in San Diego and I got family in Las Vegas because I'm Samoan. So so I have places to stay in those two cities. So I am very seriously considering doing Evo next year.
If there's any way you can do it,
alongside San Diego Comic Con, that'd be like a huge geek thing. And if I could get some sponsors online, like it'll be another thing to twist the knife into all my mates going, oh yeah, I draw comic books, I'm a pro wrestler, and I'm a sponsored gamer, and what? You know?
That sounds like the package, which I think like you would have a good chance of, as you said, because you're notable. People remember you. Like that's, you know, I think that really helps if you push that character.
Well, yeah, and so I'm looking at the streaming stuff, like, you know, once I get all of that sorted, you know, I definitely want to do artwork, because I know there's a lot of artists who do a lot of streaming on Twitch for their artwork, but also Tekken and stuff, you know. But yeah, like, you know, a lot of that comes to like that persona is all about the wrestling personality and the wrestling hustle.
You even did like a comic book illustration, and I'm hoping you'll pick up on it, but it's something to do with Samoan heroes.
Oh, okay.
And it leads into a certain celebrity as well.
Oh, okay, yeah. So Samoan Heroes is as well as comic books, I also illustrate books, and I illustrated a book called Samoan Heroes, which, fingers crossed, is making its way to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Actually, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Yeah.
So there was a newsroom article about my journey and my work, and people at Sky TV actually read it, and a friend of mine at Sky hit me up and said the Sky TV people want a copy of Samoan Heroes to send to HBO in America, who will hopefully give it to The Rock because he has a HBO series. And so I've sent that off. I haven't heard anything, but
because it's not like you can just hand it to him because he would have mad security.
Okay, so when I was in LA last month, The Rock was there, and me and my mate Fale got about 20 meters away from him, and his security was way too tight that even a Samoan and a Tongan couldn't even get near him. And so we're like, crap. But we were like 50 meters away from him when he was doing his Jumanji trailer reveal and stuff.
Could you feel that aura from him?
Honestly, you know what I mean? He's like electrifying, electrifying the millions and millions of fans. Legit, you can feel that. You can feel that.
He must be a really big dude, man. Like,
and like that dude just like electrifying.
He's tall and he's massive.
Electrifying charisma, like you feel it when his presence when he walks into the room and starts talking. But as well as Samoan Heroes hopefully making its way to The Rock, I know his mum has a copy of Samoan Heroes because I gave it to Haku, who's his uncle. He's my uncle too now. My Uncle Tonga. But Uncle Tonga took a copy of Samoan Heroes for The Rock's mum. So I know The Rock's mum has a copy of Samoan Heroes. I met Macho Man's brother last year, Lenny Poffo. I gave him a copy of my Macho Man artwork, which Lenny gave to his mum. And so I like to joke about being your favourite wrestler's mother's favourite artist. So Macho Man's mother, The Rock's mother, they have my artwork. I think I don't know if you guys know Grasshopper Manufacture. What's his name? I try to remember. He's got it's a video game company, but one of the guys behind it is a huge Fee-fi-fo-fum.
Okay.
He's a huge wrestling fan. When he was talking about their latest game, Let It Die, in his office was my artwork.
Really? No way.
Fee-fi-fo-fum had my artwork in his office, my wrestling artwork. I was like, oh shit, that's crazy. Because he did No More Heroes.
Yes.
Stuff,
Yeah.
So and Travis Touchdown does all those wrestling moves. So it was kind of crazy, like just in the YouTube video, just in the background was like my Macho Man artwork, my zombie Hulk Hogan and stuff, and it's like, oh shit, Fee-fi-fo-fum's a fan of my artwork.
So you're basically just like, that's me.
Yeah.
Just like take a picture.
South Auckland, take note.
But yeah, it's crazy stuff like that.
Dreams can come true. Eh?
It's crazy like where my wrestling and my comic artwork has taken me, and I try and throw in some games of Tekken while I can. Wherever I go, so that's why like it'll be cool. Like if I get sponsored, I can represent a brand and on an international level, and as I said, I'm decent enough that I'm not shit.
Even if it's
but
like it could be could be a gaming brand thing, but just like even anything, because I mean you're quite the character.
So that's one thing on the kind of check off my list for next year is to become a sponsored gamer.
Yeah, for sure. You also mentioned that because you were wrestling, there was another dude that was playing a lot of Tekken. We know each other from the community and stuff, but he also wanted to be a wrestler. But the thing is that you said he was quite arrogant. Do you remember that story?
You talk about Jericho?
Yeah.
Jericho. Yeah. So.
Wait. Jericho.
Not Chris Jericho.
No, Jericho Aramov.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I remember being an absolute prick to Jericho back in Tekken 5 days.
Yeah.
Because he was this young Persian dude who was trying to play, but he used to talk smack too.
He talked to
I remember he used to wreck me a lot with Bruce in Tekken 6, and those weren't fun times for me because that was when I was learning it, and I wasn't learning. I was getting thrashed.
And so because to be honest, I gotta give a shout out to Laurie because me and Laurie were like Wardler and Stadoff and the Muppets, the two old hecklers.
Yeah.
Like me and Laurie together we were the worst. Like we would come up with some real disgusting crap.
Also, no, Chuck and Gerard in there as well.
Oh, yeah, Gerard.
Because do you remember that artwork that you did of
Gerard in the
Gerard had like he had a whip and he had a leash.
Yeah,
and Laurie was on the other side of the leash.
And he was in the bear costume. He was a bear, like the gay bear, rather than because Gerard used to use Kuma, right? So I turned him into a legit literal bear in terms of the gay bear with the fur and leather and stuff. But like Jericho, Jericho, I remember when I found out his name was Arash, and I was playing him because I think Laurie goes, "Oh, you know his name's Arash." I went, "What?" And I remember peeking over to the other side of the cabinet, going, "Bro, is your name Arash?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "What the hell? Did your mum name you after what she got after screwing your dad? A rash?" And then everyone's like,
That's
"Oh."
savage, man.
And then I remember because me and Laurie were the worst together, because we would just like push it as far as it could go. And I miss that dude. Like, it's always crazy. Like me and him used to just be stupid. But like, Jericho, I remember he tried out for IPW, Impact Pro Wrestling, and this was like I've seniority, so I was one of the old vets, and I remember at the time he was quite arrogant.
I remembered he wasn't as like body wise, not wrestler material.
Oh no, he was in good shape because he did some military stuff.
Oh, okay.
So he was in decent shape, but he used to kind of have like this air of arrogance and used to rub people up the wrong way, like he did in the Tekken scene. So we do like with the rookies, we do like training matches, and this time I was like, "Okay, guys, give me Jericho." And everyone's just like, "Oh fuck!" Like Jericho's gonna get smashed. Like he's up against Liger, right? And I may sound pretty chill on this podcast, but in the New Zealand wrestling scene, I have a reputation for being one of the hardest hitters in New Zealand in terms of wrestling.
So you're the BG in terms of the IPW standard. Like you said, if you're being sent in, you're gonna hurt people.
Yeah. Well, people are gonna definitely feel it. People say it's fake, but when they step in the ring with me, they definitely feel it.
Well, you need to actually learn. You need to sell it.
Yeah.
So especially those chops.
Yeah.
Those.
I don't go out there.
Ric Flair chops.
I don't go out there and injure people. Yeah. I go out there and hit them. So
you're not Seth Rollins.
Yeah. I don't go out there and injure them, but I hit them hard enough that they feel it.
Okay.
And you can't fake that.
No.
So in that match, I wasted him, but I brought out it was the best match he ever had, because I was hitting him so hard. He got fired up. Like when you're getting beat down, you're getting chopped mercilessly. He got fired up. I was like, yes, that's what I want, and it ended up being one of the best matches.
I think Squishy Blob said it in her podcast. That whole baptism of the fire. Yeah. It's like when your number's up, you want to fight.
Yeah. Some people will fail, but like I remember that time Jericho like really took it on and really came with it. I was like, yes. I remember he hit me harder. Come on, I was really firing up, egging him on, really trying to bring that fire out of him. And so everyone's like, man, that was a really good match. He only had one match with IPW, and then him and his tag team partner took off. They were the Arabian Nights. The Arabian Nights. They had like gold tights and stuff, but they had one match, and then they were gone. But Jericho's doing his thing now. Like we're all older and stuff. Like I recognize I was a bit of a dick back then. It was more that whole like in the crowd. Again, me and Laurie just egging each other on, seeing how far we can push the envelope. But like now, I'm like, no, that was uncalled for. It doesn't have to be that much of a dick. It's all good to have fun and like roast people, but don't have any malice behind it. Just understand that some people. You don't have to go out there and
I think now
belittle them.
Yeah, I think now with like as you said, people being malice, the scene's really changed. I think those that are malice are the ones that don't show up to events. It's the ones that are just a chat. Like they're just in the form of a chat rather than like they actually don't prove what they say that they'll do.
Yeah. So so that's quite interesting. Like I have beat up one of the fellow Tekken players. In real life.
I wanted to actually get that story out there because I think that was quite an interesting one.
Yeah.
How everyone that played Tekken, I mean, we're connected in a
Yeah.
way, you know.
So you're the reason why he moved to Germany?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm the
that's
reason
right.
why.
Yeah, Jericho's
I'm the-
in Germany now.
Yeah, I'm the
so-
reason why he went to Germany and got married.
If
Yeah,
he has kids, they'll still be feeling that pain.
Yeah, that's how badly I beat
It's
him.
like, Dad, what's this?
Yeah.
Why do I get these chest pains?
That's
Yeah,
right too.
it's
That's
from all
right,
the
that's
chops.
I was funny too because like when I was talking to him about the match, I said I'm gonna f you up. So straight up, I'm just gonna f you up, and he goes, but I want you to take it and give it back to me. That's when he's like, okay, cool. And so, yeah. So when it comes to wrestling, I can be quite the Punisher.
Have you had any wrestlers like that has been a certain experience, but have you had any wrestlers that have really rubbed you the wrong way? Like ones that have put you in the corner?
Nah, like I've had busted noses and I've bled all over my costume a few times, but people know that fires me up. Like I go into like Super Saiyan mode once I see my own blood. People are like, oh, okay, like it's gonna like people know that I love seeing my blood. But no, a lot of times like there'll be people who apparently hit hard, but then when they come to me, they hit soft. I'm like, oh. You know, why you don't want to be hard back, you know?
Yeah.
But there was one guy, Luke Clemenson, who dropped me on my head twice in the match because I don't know what the hell was going through his head. As I was going over him, he decided to fall back, so I ended up landing on my head, like directly on my head, and I rolled away. But I'm Samoan, so luckily my coconut head saved me. And then he went to suplex me, and as I was going up, he just decided to brainbuster me.
He tried to crack the coconut.
So basically, he didn't communicate with you properly.
No, he didn't tell me that he was going to drop me on my head, and then but luckily again my coconut head saved me, and so to pay him back, you know, if you get hit hard, you give them a receipt. Mm-hmm. So you only hit as hard as you get hit back. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, oh, okay, you can do that. Started smashing him in the corner and like just really wailing into him. But you know, I didn't hold anything against him. I just remember going, damn it, you dropped me on my head twice, but luckily nothing went wrong. Yeah. So you know, so yeah.
Alright, so it looks like we're just going to go on our second break for a bit.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I would just like to mention as well, Garden of Might. It's another event that's going to happen. It will be next year though, 17th of March. The Garden of Might. That sounds such like a Dragon Ball Z movie title. So cool.
It's like the Tree of Might, but a garden.
Tree of Might, yeah. So I mean, they'll have Dragon Ball Fighter Z because that'll be out. You'll have Street Fighter 5, Tekken, all those assortments. So yeah, that'll be a really good event too. Garden of Might. Joy.
Christchurch?
I think it is Christchurch. Yeah, definitely hit that one up too. Cool.
Yeah, we'll definitely go on that. I'm definitely going to that.
Yeah, I might
time,
consider it too.
I think that's the week after I get back from Seattle and San Francisco, so I probably won't be able to do it.
I think every time I'm like, oh, am I gonna like? Are you coming? You're always like, oh yeah, I'm just coming back from Montreal, or oh yeah, just coming back from the Sunshine State.
International superstar, you know, I'm kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna go to our first, our second break now. So yeah, that's it. There, we'll be right back. This is Chrono, Drax, and BloodySamoan.
is a new guy and he's not that good in terms of basic. But what can I say? He's spamming these unseeable moves and he was beating us, right?
Yeah.
So I was quite pissed, but at the same time I couldn't say I'm pissed because that would look very bad.
Can you tell me, in your honest opinion, in our community, who do you think are the heels, or I should say, bad guys?
I'm gonna make some enemies with this
No,
one.
you won't. No, it's all for fun.
Okay, yeah.
All for fun.
I think maybe Sivio.
Past his interview, in there, answer him, I'm sitting there like, so, when was a time when you had to use your creativity to get yourself out of a mess with a customer? And in my head, I'm just like, oh man, I really need shit.
G'day guys, Yeeks here. You're listening to Salt Shakers. Stay salty and stay Yeeks.
And hello, welcome back. We are on Salt Shaker Drive again. We're with BloodySamoan. Chrono's just doing a bit of work on the computer. So BloodySamoan, Mikel, since you're a wrestler, it should have been a question we asked earlier. What is your finishing move or your ultimate move? What's your rage
just
art?
a bat?
What's your rage art?
What's my rage art?
Isn't it like the Killer Kitty bat to the face?
Nah,
you'll die if you get hit from one of those.
Oh yeah, I used to use a Killer Kitty bat when I was a heel. I'm a face now, so I can't use it as much.
When did you turn? Did you start as a heel?
I started when I first started as a wrestler. I started off as a face, happy-go-lucky superhero. Hey, everybody love me. And then I realized that means nothing. So I started off as Kid Liger, and then when I grew up, when I became a heel, I put aside childish things and I dropped the kid and just became straight Liger. And I've been Liger ever since. And only the last couple of years have I become a face, because the people kind of swayed me, really. Like the crowd were behind me, they kept cheering for me. I was like, oh, I guess I'm for the people now.
So that's the name as well, like the change of name too.
Yeah, no.
Was that it's more your artist name, isn't it?
Yeah. So the BloodySamoan thing is my brand. I'll talk about that later when we do the social media plugs. But yeah, BloodySamoan is my brand now. But Liger is my wrestling character, and my rage art, I guess, would be the Cape Killer. Which is a Saito driver or Saito suplex. So it's almost kind of like a German suplex, but it's kind of to the side, and I biff the person so that they land on their head. So so this is one of the moves I gave to Jericho. So as I grabbed them around the waist, I fling them over, and then so I don't even hold them. So they're in midair and they land on their head. So it's sort of like is it sort of like Brock Lesnar's Suplex City, like that kind, but it's on the side, right? Yeah, to the side. Okay. Yes, yeah. Right. So there's the Cape Killer, but also when I was a heel, I was using the Donkey Lariat, which is like a donkey punch, but it's a lariat, so to the back of the head. So I'll hit the Cape Killer, and then as a heel, it's kind of like adding insult to injury, and then I'll just run up and just clothesline the back of the head, like real hard, and they'll flip and land on their face and stuff. But my ultimate move, which I bust out every 3 years or so, is the Liger Driver, which is the Vertebreaker, the Mexican stretch bomb that King does. So yeah, so I twist them up and drop them on the head, you know that multi throw starter where he hooks the arms, flips around, and then So I do that. But
you can do that.
I can do that, but I drop people on their heads. I'll show you a video afterwards.
Yeah,
but
I'll just look at King's Command list.
Yeah, why don't you just do it on him outside?
How about no?
So I only do that move on people I know I trust.
Bacon.
Yeah, people I trust that can take it. But when I first started, I used the Shining Wizard, which didn't come into prominence until people didn't really know what the Shining Wizard is outside of wrestling until Tekken 4, when he first started doing the Shining Wizard. When King first started doing the Shining Wizard.
That wasn't really a Shining Wizard, because the Shining Wizard is sort of like you sort of go there, you take a step on their knee, and then you sort of kick them.
So
like,
no,
you
that's
know, in the face. But with King's one, it's sort of like
the knee.
You know, the knee to the face.
So the Shining Wizard that most people know, which is more of a kick than the knee, is kind of the original version was a knee, straight knee to the face. And you'll see Keiji Muda, the great Muda, my all-time favorite wrestler, and I got to meet him last year, which is one of the bucket list things. That's his finishing move. And so when I first saw it in Tekken 4, I was like, "Oh my god, he's got the Shining Wizard!" And then when they brought in air throws and the riding powerbomb in 5 as the Shining Wizard, it's like, "Oh man, this is even crazier."
I think if you did the giant swing notation,
it was
5DR. It was the spinning.
It was the spiral, the spiral
one. Yeah.
So that just made me love that move even more. You know?
Yeah, because you have like people that do the Shining Wizard in sort of in WWE.
Yeah.
Like
Xavier Woods.
Xavier Woods, AJ Lee.
Would
do it, but it's not the actual King.
No, you see, a lot of the Americans, they've bastardized that move, and so they kind of do a lazy. It's almost like Enziguri. So they don't actually step up off the knee. They just kind of like flick their leg and kick, and there's like Shining Wizard. It's like, no, that's not a Shining Wizard. You have to step off that knee. And I remember the first time I had that Shining Wizard, people were like, "Holy crap! I need someone in the face." And I was like, luckily I had knee pads, but yeah. So that's kind of the moves I've used over the years as finishes, as rage arts. So yeah.
In your mask, like it's very. Did you design the mask?
See, that's the joy of being an artist. Is that my costumes, my masks, they're all designed by me. So I remember when I wanted to go with the full kind of Liger persona mask, I found some reference photos of tigers and kind of looked at the cool stripes, and I was like, "Oh man, that's really cool. I'm gonna turn that into a mask," and that's kind of the basis for my Liger mask.
So you are a hero now, like you're a good guy.
So I designed the mask. I measured it. I measured my face and stuff, and made sure all the holes and stuff were in the right places. And the key to the mask is that I designed it with my beard in mind. So like the beard actually makes the whole mask look cool. If you don't have a beard, you look weird.
It looks a bit pansy.
Yeah, it looks weird if you don't have a beard. You have to be a manly man to wear a Liger mask.
Virtual Bacon's drawing, you can really tell that like the beard looks like it's a part of the mask.
Yeah, even though it's a different color from the main, it still feels like it's part of the mask. So that's how I designed it. And so I sent the designs off to Mexico and it got made by a
because it has that lucha libre kind of feel to it.
And
like
you can't buy them
around the eyes and stuff. Yeah.
You can't buy them. You can't buy them in Mexico because apparently the mask maker makes extras and sells them in Mexico. But yeah, you can't just go, "Oh, can I buy a mask?" I'm like, "Nah, you can't because I get these custom made. They're designed for my big Samoan head." So, so yeah, yeah.
Man, I feel like because you said you did, tag team, right? It'd be cool if you had that, like JC and the mother, like they both had the similar masks.
I tried to. So
There's a photo of you and 2 other people with masks.
I had a tag team, kind of a stable called the Pride.
Yes, I remember. Yeah. I remember going to a few shows on those. Yeah.
So I was yellow, my tag team partner was blue, and then we had a female member of our group, and she was pink. And pretty much my idea was, because I have all these different colored masks at home, I've also got purple as well, and whatnot. And all I wanted to do was create a Power Rangers team of Ligers.
To me, that kind of reminded me of the whole Enzo, Big Kaz, and Carmella trio.
So, the cool thing about Ligris, the female member of our group, is that she's now wrestling in the UK and under Dahlia Black. And she's doing great. Her and the boyfriend are doing great things in the UK, really making a name for themselves. They actually were at WrestleMania weekend this year doing wrestling stuff for WWE in Progress. So it was kind of cool, because I remember seeing her really thrive under the mask, because the mask kind of gives you a bit of anonymity, so you can kind of be a bit more open than your true self.
Yeah,
I saw her grow so much as a wrestler, as a character under that mask. I was really proud of her. And then she lost the mask match to the current IPW champion Brittany. She lost the mask match. I remember she was like in the middle of the ring crying with the mask in her hands, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's Olivia Shaw!" And they didn't realize that she was Ligris, and me and my partner came out there, and everyone's like, oh, like because our reputation were heels, they thought we were gonna kill her, and we came out there. I came out there, I picked her up, gave her the biggest hug, and I'm not a hugger, so I gave her the biggest
Is that
hug.
like that's kind of like the curtain call again, eh?
Yeah, it's like she was heading up to England and stuff, So I gave her the biggest hug, told her she did really well. We did our pose in one corner. And here's the thing about wrestling, you got people expect things, and so when I came out there, people were like, oh, he's gonna kill her. I went out there, hugged her, went out there and posed with her in one corner. So people were like, oh, okay, cool. You play around with people's expectations. It's the entertainment side of pro wrestling.
Then you took her out the back and killed her.
And then we went to and so you draw it out so people let their guards down. They're like, oh, okay, we thought we were gonna smash her. We went to the other corner, and she's in the middle rope posing. We're posing with her. Then me and my partner starts walking backwards, and we start sitting up, waiting for her to turn around, and then we hit our dawn raid on her, which is like a clothesline spear tackle, and she went flying into the turnbuckle, and everyone just went, "Oh, she did!" I was like, "That's right." So stuff like that's what I love about wrestling is that entertainment aspect. They're playing around with people's expectations. One thing is that it's a weird way of putting it, but what I love about wrestling is manipulating people's emotions, making them feel happy, making them feel sad, making them feel angry,
and then
everything.
180.
Yeah, and then with everything you do in that ring, you're a puppet master in the crowd of the puppets. So that's one thing.
That's the reason why Chris Jericho is so good at it.
Oh yeah,
he's
Jericho.
one of the best, man.
Yeah,
I reckon him, Triple H.
Yeah.
There's a few others as well. AJ Styles. Yeah, they know how to.
Jericho's the man because every time he reinvents himself.
Yeah,
and he gets it over. Because he knows how to work.
Well, that's
the crowd.
the reason why he says that he's the best at what he does.
He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT, greatest of all time. So that's so that's kind of crazy. Like some of the stuff I've done.
Well, with your talk about manipulation and molding people's feelings in the Tekken scene, who do you consider to be an enemy? It kind of like we were talking about Kyo being a villain.
Yeah.
Is there anyone? Because you go quite far back in the Tekken scene.
Yeah.
So, in your mind, who do you see as a villain? Like you play them and it's just like acid through their veins.
I don't really.
It's troublesome because you don't, you're not on the scene as often.
No.
But I'm sure you get a feeling, like you said, where your feelings are being manipulated by someone.
Not really. Like, because I've always been pretty chill. And again, like I play Tekken to have fun. I don't take it too seriously. So like even if I lose to someone that is maybe I think they're not as good as me, I'm like, that's alright. Yeah.
What about online?
Online?
The Tongan one.
No, Tongan one. I like the Tongan
he's
one.
good, he's alright.
I guess if you're talking about online.
Oh, okay. Who is it?
Colonet.
Yeah.
And it's weird too because when I met him at TWT,
we were talking about this too.
Yeah,
that day we were talking about this.
I was surprised that he showed up, but then when I saw that he was like a little kid, I was like, oh man, there's no I was like my hate for him kind of went dissipated.
It just went,
because there was no point. I was like, it's this little kid. Like to him, rankings mean everything, and trolling means everything to little kids, little shits like that. So I was like, so that's when I was like, I didn't even need to worry about him. Like that's and so
nothing to worry about.
Yeah, so it's like he can do his thing, I'll do my thing. That's kind of how I've always been, and there used to be salty guys back in the days. Vince and Casey, man, they used to have they used to have the biggest rages when they were losing and stuff. But like, I never got.
Do you remember Dylan?
Oh no, yes, Dylan, who's in Japan now. But the white guy who was brought up in Samoa, and was on crack
spoke fluent Samoan.
Spoke fluent Samoan, but he was on crack, so he had the biggest meltdowns. Neil used to have the biggest meltdowns too.
Didn't he punch a hole in the wall?
Yeah, so Neil, but like now he's kind of.
But Neil's a good guy.
No, he's a cool dude.
I mean, like I'm sure he'll admit that he would lose it a couple of times, but he recovered. Like unlike other people.
Yeah, exactly. Really, so that's what I mean. Like Neil. Yeah. I remember Neil used to have some big meltdowns, but like now he's mellowed out.
But it's nothing compared to what like gamers do now.
Oh man,
like when they're frustrated, they really let it out, man.
But yeah, so like I never really had any enemies. It was just like, just
how about in the wrestling world? Do you have like a rival, or do you have like someone that people are like, oh, fight this person?
Nah, not really. I just fight different people, really. I kind of pride myself on being someone that can work with anyone. And hopefully most people will say the same, that I can work with anyone of any style. Again, I'm pretty lax. I'm pretty chill, so I'm like, okay, what do you do? And I'll work around that, you know. And so I help kind of make people look good as well as beat them up.
So you wrestle, you draw comics, and you play fighting video game, like fighting games, Tekken.
Yeah.
You're also very active in like communities and such. Like I think I saw a photo of you on Facebook where you were at now, not that it's not normal, but I saw a photo of you at a marae. It was some kind of ceremony or something, and it looked very like it's something like. What other things do you get up to?
So like some of the reasons why I can't make offline events, you know, is either comics related or wrestling related. But sometimes I'm out of town or busy doing community events or school visits. So I'm part of Duffy Books and Homes. I'm one of their role models, talking to kids about my work as a comic book artist and a wrestler. And hopefully in the future I can talk about being a sponsored gamer.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I do primary schools, I do intermediate schools, high schools, and the further you were talking about, the marae was in Rotorua. And last year they had their first batch, Animation College campus down there, had their first batch of graduates. And so they invited me to be a guest speaker at their graduation. And that was pretty cool to kind of share my experience and see other brown people, you know, kind of following their artistic dreams. You know, like, and I was kind of an example of what is possible. So that's kind of what I do as well. And I love to share my story with kids to hopefully inspire them to follow their dreams, regardless of what it is. It doesn't have to be comics or wrestling, but like showing them what's possible when you kind of go down that rabbit hole of following your dream.
Because they can go down that rabbit hole of just like, I wouldn't say throwing their life away, but just kind of tunnel vision, like not seeing other options.
Like as I said like earlier, like I just want to have fun, and I get to have fun doing the stuff. Doing the stuff I love as a career, as a job. That's crazy. Like, you know, the little kid in me that dreamed about this stuff, like, still can't believe it's possible that I'm making it happen at the moment. You know, not only have I done the WWE Comics work, I just finished doing some trading cards for Marvel and Upper Deck, and so like I'm like, oh my god, I've done some official Marvel work.
Marvel deck cards.
Trading cards.
Really?
Yeah. So I did 40 trading cards for Upper Deck and Marvel.
Wow.
So it's that kind of stuff that I'm just like, I can't believe that happens to me. And like, you know, being able to share the ring with famous wrestlers that I grew up, being able to work with famous wrestlers on Headlocked as well, it's crazy, you know.
That's the one with Jerry the King.
Jerry the King Law and stuff, and so and Ric Flair. So for me, all I care about is just having fun and keeping it real. Like my actual mantra, my motto in life is do the work and don't be a dick. That's it. And that seems to get I get by with that.
Okay.
Doing the work and not being a dick.
All right. Okay, so now I've got a question for you. It's the one that always circulates.
Well, let's say let me ask this then.
Okay.
So it's the one that gets asked with like,
the one that everyone wants to know the answer to.
Yeah.
Right?
So who is your? Should I say Tekken? I'd say Tekken waifu. Who's your Tekken waifu?
You guys should know.
It's probably JC.
JC.
Yeah.
It has to be JC.
It can't be anyone else. You're so into wrestling, you don't use anyone else.
When I brought Ligris into the fold for the Pride, I in my mind wanted to do a JC style Liger mask, and that's what she kind of did. She modeled it to fit her face because I have a big bunga face, and she's a small Balangi girl. So she had to mod it and alter it, but she also changed it, and it kind of looked like a JC mask. So yeah, JC. Hands down, you know, you can have your boobs on Christy, you know, and you know Katarina and all that stuff, and Josie and stuff. But I'll have my masked chick JC, and
I know,
and especially with her great murder Frankensteiner.
Yeah,
that was I marked out for that when I first saw that in the game, because when she does the Huracan Rana and she goes like that, that's a great Muda
with
thing.
the devil horns thing. Yeah.
So yeah, that's a great Muda thing. And I saw that, I was like, I marked out for that, and I was like, yep, this is my waifu.
You know her Mad Axe before when she was Julia. Yeah, the same notation would give her that other throw that looks really cool.
The spinning head scissors one.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, no, she has some great moves in Tekken Tag 2. And but I didn't explore enough with her to be able to use her seriously.
Yeah,
but
Jamie would have been the one to go to for all that, I suppose.
Yeah.
Nah, Jamie actually didn't want to pick up JC at all.
Yeah, because I mean,
she was just really different.
She's technically a new character. Like, yeah. I mean, I don't know how anyone else thought. I never really found Julia quite attractive, but JC, because of that, the outfit, the mask, it's the mystery, Like,
and I actually, like in the Tekken Tag 2 customizations, I actually really like Michelle's one. Her
the black one.
Yeah, with the black one, I like that. I was like, man, that's actually a cool a cool mask and stuff.
They should have made her a palette swap, like Julia Michelle. Like that would have been cool.
But Michelle was more traditional Chang style.
Yeah.
But JC was totally different. So yeah, but no, JC hands down. Yeah.
Okay. We kind of expected that.
Yeah. No, it's good, man. There was actually something you wanted to. I don't know if I'd say announce, but you had something that you wanted to say on the podcast.
So as I was talking about, like, the community and the atmosphere is different now than back in the days. It's not as salty. There is salt, obviously, but like it's more communal, right? And coming back into the fold with some of these offline events and catching up with people, meeting players I've met online in real life. I'm like, man, this is actually kind of cool. Like, I kind of want to be a part of that in some small way as well. So I'm looking at organizing a Tekken tournament on January the 20th, which is a Saturday, at Arkham City Comics, which is the comic store I work at and frequent.
That's cool, man.
Like I'm still nailing down the details and stuff, which I hopefully would have by the time off-season Salt next Saturday is around. But January 20th, Arkham City Comics. I'm looking at doing
that's the date.
January 20th.
Okay. No, that's good.
Just gotta sort out prizes and like the format and whatnot. So
what made you want to do the tournament?
Just that vibe that the community has now, like wanting to hang out with the guys, play some good Tekken, talk crap.
That's also what I wanted to add in is that the difference between back then. So every time when I'll be like, okay, well, what we're going to be doing is we're going to go to Yifans or we're going to go to Time Zone, we're going to play some Tekken, we're going to go eat, and then we're going to go back and play some more Tekken. Over here, it's people doing different things as well.
And I think the online community as well has grown it in a different aspect. But then I think also with Tekken 7 being such a great game, so like my favorite Tekken since DR. Like
it's fleshed out a lot of people, but unlike any other Tekken game.
Tekken 7 like has totally smashed Street Fighter 5. Like new players are coming out of the woodwork, new players are coming into the fold. And so
like the return of D-Sam, man, I'm the man,
but stuff like that.
Also the return of Vince.
I know. That's what I mean. It's just like I would never think they would come back.
So stuff like that.
And then you're like, what are you doing now? It's like, I've got kids, 4 of them.
But it's stuff like that made me feel like I want to do something for the community as well, and kind of just bring everyone together again, like these offline tournaments usually do. And so I wanted to kind of do something with that with Arkham City Comics.
That's good stuff, man.
So Saturday, January 20th is
So keep that date in mind, January 20th.
More details to follow, that's for sure.
More details to follow, Arkham City Comics in Royal Oak, but
Royal Oak
Miguel will be the one to hit up for this. So.
We're based inside the Royal Oak Mall. There's a McDonald's nearby, there's a food court, there's Wendy's, there's plenty of parking.
Butter chicken is really good.
There's plenty of parking, that's the thing. There's food nearby, there's bathrooms.
It's a tournament inside a mall, it's the best place to have it. Everything's there.
Everything's there, so so you don't have to worry about paying like exorbitant parking fees like in town and stuff. Like there's always plenty of parking around and there's food like in walking distance.
Yes, sweet, man. So BloodySamoan, if people are interested, before we ride off into the sunset.
That's my line. Come on.
I'm adding the horse sounds.
Well, that's because I found out that Daly's part Tongan, so of course he's going to do the horse sounds. You betrayed me, Daly. You betrayed me.
People are still
That's actually news to me. I didn't know that he was part Tongan. I thought he was part Sa. That's it. And Tongan.
Unfortunately,
yes. Yeah, this is the Tongan 2.
Is he the Tongan ninja, is he?
He's the Tongan 2.
The Tongan 2.
Yeah.
People are still driving with their Tongan flags like on their cars. Like, wow. Like the
it must fill your heart with pride.
it sure does. But yeah, no, BloodySamoan, where can people find you?
Where can people find me?
Where can people see your artwork? Where can people reach out to you?
So if you know my name, it's pretty easy to know to find me. So BloodySamoan not only is my PSN name and my Tekken name, it's also my brand. So www.bloodysamoan.com. Twitter's @BloodySamoan. Instagram is BloodySamoan Art. Facebook is BloodySamoan Art. You just Google BloodySamoan. There's plenty of information about me online.
Where the tournament is where he works. Arkham City Comics, Royal Oak. Yeah.
So Google BloodySamoan. You'll find me. You'll find my face all over the place. You'll find my artwork.
Sweet as. Cool. Oh yes, and actually we should probably make note as well that Chrono, when you finish doing your PC work, okay, well Chrono's going to be in Wellington next week, from the 5th is the 5th,
yeah, the
right?
5th to the 12th. So
the 5th, yeah.
I'm just taking some time off. As I said, I'm taking a break this month. Going to go visit some friends. So obviously, as you already know, Alex and myself, we're really good friends. QK. And I'm gonna be doing.
I remember back in Tekken 5 days, because you guys were the Ling players. I used to call you Chromo. And Kyoge. The Ling players.
He didn't play that many. He didn't play that much Ling anymore.
No, he doesn't.
I don't think. Okay,
I remember him as a Ling player.
Ever since we started hanging out, he hasn't really been playing Xiao Yu. I don't know why. It's like she's all right, but he started playing Paw and Lee and all those others. Yeah,
but that's cool. Yeah, sorry to interrupt.
So no, as I was saying, so I'll be also going to the Rambats that's in that's going to be there.
Oh, cool
as well. So definitely going to be doing some podcasts over there with some of the prominent players, and it'll be good. It'll be a whole bunch of fun.
Yeah, so if any Wellington players are listening, keep your eye out for Chrono. He will be heading up one of your Rambats when he's there. Entering your township on December 5th. He'll definitely be hitting up one player that I guess I'll mention now, Kevlar X920. Look behind your shoulder, mate. You might have a wild chrono coming out from the bushes.
Probably 6 IVs too.
6 IVs, perfect IVs.
Yeah, perfect IVs.
Yeah, no, we definitely want to get Kevlar on a podcast if we can. So this is just an early warning. Don't want to go to Wellington with and get nothing.
Well, what I was planning to do is we're trying to set this up, so me, Blackout, Kevlar, and possibly Corn Willis, Fergus. So we're basically trying to see who we can go to after the tournament to have some casuals. What I'm going to probably do is I'll just have the laptop on, and I'll have the microphone on, and then I'll just get someone just to come and sit down. Once they're pretty much done, they're gone, and then I'll just keep going.
Yeah, do the yarn.
It'll be like a good 3-hour podcast.
Yeah, with different members of the
people.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then I'll probably play some music and something like once we're taking a break.
Yeah.
It'll be.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, no, that's great.
Fun.
Chrono will be going down with the Omen laptop. Hopefully, we'll have it by then. Stickers and all that. And please don't feel afraid. Hit Chrono up, hit Blackout, hit Corn Willis. Hit any of those.
I would love to hit Blackout physically. That guy.
But you can't hit him if you can't see him.
Yeah, damn.
Is that a black joke? Okay.
Let's wrap this up, shall we?
All right. So before we go and ride off into the sunset. Shut up. No, so is there any special mentions that you wanted to point out there, Mikhail?
No, not really. No, I just want to thank you guys for taking the time out.
It's been our pleasure.
To have me on the podcast, and despite the technical difficulties, we made it work.
Yeah, man, definitely.
But no, to everyone else out there who's listening or gonna listen later on, any Tekken players out there, just hopefully I'll see you guys online or offline. Feel free to add me, BloodySamoan. That's my PSN name. I'm always keen to have some casual matches because it's always casual to me. Again, thank you, Drax, Chrono, and Virtual Bacon. It was a pleasure being a part of this.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming. Everybody, that's BloodySamoan, that's Mikau as well. We'll be signing out there. So, yeah, Drax, you want to sign us off?
Man has been invited to do podcast. Man has done podcast. If man is real, man will come to off-season Salt, Garden of Might, and BloodySamoan tournament. Thank you.
Okay, everyone signing off.
Yo,
See you later, guys.
Yo, it's Bruce Bender.
Yo, what up? Still.
Yo, this is Hyena. You're listening to the Salt Shaker Podcast.
And you're listening to the Salt Shaker Podcast.
Yo, this is Parasite NZ.
Hey, this is Penny Power.
This is Royston, and you're listening to this. You're listening to the Salt Shaker Podcast.
that was just before we put it on mute.
My name is Gabe, aka Jabu the Hut, and you are listening to Salt Shakers Podcast.